What's up everybody, Pete with Auto Repair Tips. In this video I got a 07 Dodge Caliper RT with a 2.4. Customer brought me the car because the check engine light's on and the AC's not working correctly. So the first thing we're going to do is put a scanner on it because it's possible that check engine light is coming from that AC not working correctly. So let's get into it. Alright, let's see what kind of codes are in this car. Because it has an AC issue, I'm thinking it might be just going to be an AC code. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Let's go to code menu, go to codes. All right, O2 sensor 1, no, excuse me, O2 bank 1 sensor 2 is a slow response. Basically, that's just a nice way of putting that it's a lazy O2 sensor. Let's go to diagnose and take a look at that real quick. It says 763 times replace the O2 sensor took care of this. Well, we don't want to just replace parts, we kind of want to fix what the problem is, correct? Let's take a second, let's look at the technical service bulletin on this thing. Let's go down to this one right here. Let's look right here. Symptoms. Some customers may experience illumination light. No other symptoms will be noted or experienced. Further investigation by technician finds that the P0139 O2 sensor slow response or 2270 signal bias lean. Diagnose. Let's see. Use the scan tool with appropriate diagnostic procedure available. Verify all engines symptoms are functioning as designed. If there are any other codes, make sure you clear them first. So basically this update is just it's a check for an update in flash. Before we go to all that trouble, let's take a second here. Let me start the engine. Engine's cold right now. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up. Let's watch the O2 function. Let's see if the heaters heat up. Let's customize this list. Let's deselect all. Going down the list, I want the volts on sensor 1, I want the volts on sensor 2, I want the heater temp on sensor 1, I want the heater temp on sensor 2, I want to look at the cat temperature, I want short term, I want long term. Let's look at that list and see how that looks. The cat temperature, negative 27 degrees, that's already jacked up. All right, let's start this thing. Let's put on a graph the volts for the downstream, and let's put on a graph volts for the upstream. Let's take a look at them right this minute. Let's see what happens. Right off the get-go, you can see the upstream sensor, it's already working. And the downstream sensor, look how long it took for something to happen. That's what I mean by a lazy O2 sensor. It's just a slow response. I mean, it's going to be a little bit slower, but it should have already picked up something quicker. Look how high those volts are. And it's saying the cat is 800 degrees. I just started it. That cannot be true. The heater on the sensor 1 is 1200. Heater on sensor 2 is 300. It's slowly going up, but it's slow. So we do know the heater is working, but look how slow it's moving. Short term, that's going to be your upstream. That's throwing it in a lean condition. The reason why it's throwing it lean is because you're dumping fuel because the car is cold, so it's trying to lean it out some. Look at the long term. I want to add something to this list. I don't see what I want. I was kind of looking for, because it says long term bank 1 sensor 1 is, and it says short term bank 1 sensor 1. I don't know. Normally downstream is going to be long term and upstream is your short term, but it's saying both of those. I mean, that could be a misprint. Let's go back to the list and let's look at this. Because the long term is stuck at 10. Short term is now, that's pretty well within specs. Look how the volts here on the upstream are almost mirror image to the volts on the downstream. All right, that shouldn't be. That gives an indication of a bad cat. When those two kind of mirror each other, up and downstream, that's one way of telling if you have a bad cat. But a catalytic converter is a pretty pricey item on this car. I do know, I've done these in the past, that an O2 sensor is like about $35, $40. I would definitely go with a downstream O2 sensor. So I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. It's already showing it 3.2. I mean, there's no changes. Oop, hit the wrong screen. All right, I'm gonna shoot a little starter fluid in the intake. Let's see if these change. They should rich out even more than they are. They cut off. before I could even see. Let's do that again. But see the short term, how it's negative 15? It's leaning out the car. The long term went negative. So they're both moving, just really slow. So let me show you what I did. You see how this Cadillac temperature is reading 847 degrees? Check this out. Yesterday when I started working on this, I took some readings off the cat. The cat at its hottest. Now, 591 degrees is the white part. That is a little spot up in here, but this is the main part of your catalytic converter right here. It is down here. It is not even at 300 or 400 degrees probably. So looking at that, and you're comparing it to the heat here, that's 800 degrees. That is definitely way off. I'm gonna go in the car and I'm going to give it the gas, see can I lean it out a little bit. Okay, so when I revved it up, you see how this went rich? This one should have moved a little bit more than that. I mean, it's possible it could be a reflashing on this computer, but before I take time to get all that set up and do a reflashing and see if there's an update on it, my gut's telling me let's go with that $35 O2 sensor. That's all that thing costs. So let's put that in there and see what happens. I'm gonna do a screenshot and I'll have that put in the car file so I'll be able to go back and match it up. This is the downstream sensor right here. I'm just using a 15/16 to break it loose. And yes, it's still a little bit hot. But you did see when we were looking at it, it was moving, the response was really slow. It was not fast at all. Should be moving faster. Now I didn't like how it mirrored the daggone front O2 sensor, which to me is a possibility of a bad cat. I didn't really have to do a heater test because you could see the heater circuit working on the O2. That's the part number. It's a 350-34360. It already comes with NECs on it, so you don't have to put anything on it. All right, we're gonna have to wire tie all that shit up out of the way. All right, let's get this thing down. Let's start it up. All right, we got the new sensor in. It is working a little bit different. I still don't like these two almost mirror imaging each other. That's to me telling me that that cat is bad. I need to do a little more reading on the TSB. So after doing some checking, there was an update available on this car for that code. I went ahead and did the update on the code, and we use a SnapOn pass-through. We don't go to the dealer anymore. There was a time where I took all the cars to the dealers and getting them updated it, and after being screwed over so many times, we decided to go with this tool here. It's a SnapOn pass-through, and basically you hook to the car, you call them up, set up an appointment, and what they do is they go into the system, they check it for an update. If it needs it, they update it, and they can do anything you want to any vehicle when it comes to the computers. We used to have the one where it was, you had your laptop, you hooked through the car. I went on a site, I downloaded a certificate for the day or 2 days, whatever it was. I went through the computer, and me and my brother, we would sit here and you'd have to pull it off the internet, upload it to the computer. And it took time out of my day to do it. This way, I don't have to worry about it. I hook to the car with this tool here. I go on and make money doing something else while someone else takes care of that for a small fee. Well worth the money. Best money I ever spent. All right, let's go ahead and get the scanner back on it and let's look at some of these readings and see if they're any better. All right, so after they did the update, looking at it, this graph does look a little bit different. This one here is at 2.5 to 3.2. This one is at 3.1 to 3.2. So they're definitely not mirroring each other this time. I'm not sure when it says it's the catalytic molded temperature. I'm not sure what the molded thing is. Maybe that's supposed to be that high. I don't know, but I do know it was red flag before, but it's not red flag now. So maybe whatever they did took care of that problem too in the update. Looking at sensor 1, heater 1, that's 1400. And looking at sensor 2, on that heater, that's 1400. So they're about the same. I'm curious real quick on something. Should be able to open up one of these files here. Let's look at this picture. What was this picture? Oh, hello, come on. Oh, there it is. So that was the reading before. And that's the reading now. You see how it's slightly up and down? And let's see if I can go back to that picture before. That's how you can see it's working. But before, it was just flat. So this O2 definitely wasn't working before, but either way, it did need the update. That's taken care of, and that rear O2 was definitely not working correctly because you can see the flat line in it as opposed to this. Much better. The response time is 10 times better. So when you have situations like this, sometimes it just takes a lot of extra reading. You don't always want to just throw a part in there. You want to make sure that what you're doing is going to fix the problem. Like in this case here, I went and read a little bit further. It needed an update for that same code. We took care of that and put an O2 in there. Still not 100% sure on that catalytic converter. It just, to me, the temperature looks a little high, but it's not red flagging anymore. So maybe the update took care of that too. All right, that's it for this video. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Catch you later.